Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Lindsey, Shane, and I are back for Survivor 50, Episode 3, and joining us from Survivor 48, Justin is back on the Tribe of Nerds. Welcome back, Justin.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, anytime. So to get into this, what are your guys' impressions of Survivor 50, Episode 3? Justin, you can go first.
I think I'm all set with any and all musical numbers for a very long time. I could probably go another 50 seasons without hearing them myself.
Well, it looks like we're getting a concert next week, but from an actual music star, though.
I wonder if he'll have a special backup guest singer.
Oh, I hope.
Who also is the showrunner.
Yeah, Jeff might be there in the background.
Jeff will bring back his cowboy hat from what was it, Cook Islands? I think.
Cook Islands, yeah.
I love that look personally. I think that was a cool thing. But musically, I think he's very good at what he does. He's an icon for the show. Everyone knows who he is, but it may be time to put the mic down, bro. In the words of my buddy Wendell.
Stop snapping.
Oh boy, yeah. The rapping was, as you said, with Wendell needs to come in and be like, you're trash at rapping.
All I thought of was that Ghost Island confessional when he was voting, and it made me laugh the first time I saw it when we had a watch party at school many years ago, and it still makes me laugh to this day. And I'm like, wow, you can still apply it so many seasons later.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, you had fried chicken and waffles in your season, Justin, and then that went so well. I'll bring it back.
Like, if we're doing musical numbers, let's throw it back to Chris Noble with his rap, or let's throw it back to Coach and JT and who is it, Courtney Yates on them on Heroes versus Villains. Like, that's who I want, who's gonna sing to me on TV on Survivor.
The Ponderosa Files.
Yes, the Dragons.
That was great. They had the little Guitar Hero set going and everything. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yes. Shane and Lindsey, what about you guys? What are your impressions of the episode?
It was good. I mean, swaps are always interesting because with these returning seasons, the thing I look forward to is seeing players interact with each other who you wouldn't have seen before. So that I always like that aspect of it. But it also, what I don't like is you get to see these new dynamics and you lose people right away. It just moves too fast. But overall, for me, this season is at least the best since Winners at War, if not from before. No offense, Justin.
not taken. I totally agree.
Yeah, Shane, I'm with you there. It's one of the best seasons I've seen in a while. And swaps are difficult because you never want to see somebody get swap screwed or just get go because they're just on the wrong side of the numbers and they just don't have a chance. But it's also really fun to see our 3 David versus Goliath people back again, to see how the tribe dynamic shifted up. We still have Aubrey against Genevieve. We now are setting up Charlie versus RizGod. There's a lot of fun with this swap here.
Yeah. I will definitely talk about that because that was something I was excited for, and then I was very sad when it went the opposite way that I was expecting. So. Let's get into it. So post tribal, after Savannah's voted out, so Christian and Devins are super excited. They pulled off this fake idol, and I mean, this is where we're gonna get them telling Sari about this plan. I mean, Justin, what were your thoughts on this fake idol getting planted?
I thought the whole theatrical aspect of it was pretty funny. I mean, the fake fall, the having everybody check up on you, the Rick Devins to the camera, channeling his inner newscaster.
Yes.
The whole thing was great TV to watch. I don't know how it will play out going forward. It's never been done before. It's always been teased. I think they've done it on, correct me guys if I'm wrong, Australian Survivor or another rendition of the show. But it's always something that I was conscious of being a tribal. I kind of had a feeling that on a season like 48, just kind of a random season, not like a landmark season like we have with 50, that it might not be the case, but you always have in the back of your head, if they're going to hide something at tribal, will be a big deal. And it's a big moment. You kind of pull it out, save yourself, the Yace in the whole kind of situation. So maybe they use it going forward. Maybe somebody else has that mentality that I had sitting at tribal, and I was there many a time. So I had a lot of time to think about that, but I don't know. Maybe they, someone sees it, they think they're in trouble. They pull it out. They get this whole thing. Jeff says this idol is not real, right in the fire, and then you kind of get that iconic moment for one of these big seasons.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that just clicked for me is like they did it on Australia versus the world, which these people haven't seen, but Suri knows about it because she was in on that plan. So for Suri, this will actually maybe be believable. But if someone else were to find it, then it's like kind of blown up because I think the note they hit is the one that's like you found the Billie Eilish idol, but you have to give it to someone else, so it's not yours. But I assume like Devins or Christian will pull it out and like lie about what the note says and hope that nobody has to read the note.
Yeah, Shane, I think you're right. I'm more thinking that Christian or Devins are going to bluff it as opposed to somebody finding it and trying to play it. But we shall see.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think also Australian Survivor All Stars, Henry Zenhen had the fake idol that he pulled out. So that was the only other time I believe that they had it. But yeah, I probably agree that it's going to be hard for someone to like think this is real, especially with this caliber of players. We don't have someone like Jason Siska thinking a stick is an idol. So
Stick.
So that happens. And then, so Suri finds out. I think this was a good move to tell Suri, you get Suri on your side. I think you're golden. But Devins forgets to tell Emily Flippin, and we get to the swap, and Christian is the one to let Emily Flippin know. And you would think, like, oh, this is really good. Like, Christian let Emily know. She's in the know about everything. Not for Emily Flippin. She ends up being very sloppy this week.
It was definitely a hell of an episode for her, though.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it is with Emily in episode 3s, but she kind of just shines so bright. I don't really know what to think of the gameplay. I think she did a good job in the sense of covering her own tracks. It was more of a kind of, you just take a bucket of water though and just dump it everywhere and just hope that your trail is going to be shadowed from everything else. But we'll see how it plays out. It seems like Christian did some damage control himself too. So it'll be interesting to see how those two kind of navigate going forward.
For sure.
Yeah, I think one interesting thing about this is like it kind of shows the difference between old era and new era, because in the old era they're used to like having all this extra time built in so they can like tell their plans, but here it probably went like you go to trial, you have to do your confessionals and all that, and then the next morning you're going right into a tribe swap, so like there's not really much time anymore to get to Emily.
Yeah, agreed. Because, like, I don't think Christian or Devins, I don't think they meant to leave Emily out of this plan. It just, well, the time worked out. It happened. And I wrote on my notes multiple times, Emily, no, messy, no, multiple times. So I'm so sorry, Emily Flippin, because I love you, but I'm going to push back on this episode.
Yeah. My favorite part is like Christian, her telling Christian's like, what is she doing? Like, I just told you everything. Like, I think this
Great
is
confessional.
Yeah. Frustrated Christian.
I'm liking this new side of Christian too, because you kind of got the shy, meek, obviously very intelligent version of him in David vs. Goliath. And now you have like the showman version of Christian. So I don't know. They always talk about how players will adjust their game, some slightly, some more dramatically. It just seems as though whatever he's doing, it's very fun to watch.
It is.
Yeah, I love when people are show their showmanship on the show. I mean, I think my favorite showman has to be King George in Australian Survivor because he just knows how to entertain everybody. Yeah. So, and somehow still be good at the game.
Content machine.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how it works here. After we get Jeff Probst's terrible rap, then we get the new tribes. So we'll just go through them and talk about the events that happen over there as well. The new Sela tribe is Rick Devins, Suri, RizGod, Charlie, D, Jonathan, and Camilla. And so over here, I mean, we get a lot of RizGod, kind of annoying people again, because he ends up fanboying over Suri. I believe he shared a picture on social media of like what he talked about with he was 18 when he met Suri at an open casting call. So it's funny, Suri just does not remember Rizzo. But I wouldn't expect her to. And then, of course, the moment that I think we're going to talk about a lot is that Rizzo ends up asking Charlie about Maria, and he ends up revealing all this information to Charlie about the Boomerang Idol. And then the big thing that pisses off Charlie is telling Charlie and everybody else that Sophie B, Blue Sophie, was his number one, but he didn't vote for her. He voted for Savannah. And so that ends up pissing off Charlie, who has a chip on his shoulder. So
that to me was kind of like, I'm trying to unpack that a little bit, because I think he's lying, because I mean, he was almost equally close to Sophie and Savannah. So it's not like she was his number one and Savannah wasn't. And like, I almost think Savannah was actually his real number one. But what I think happened is he was lying like the whole season about like, oh, Savannah and me aren't that close. And even though she's gone, he's just trying to like be consistent is what I think is happening. But I don't know for sure. But it's also weird, like he would say it that way to Charlie, because you could still keep up your lie without pissing him off, but he probably didn't know he was going to trigger him that much. But maybe that's also just a little bit of like Rizzo's personality, and like he's really like one of these fans like us that like you want to ask Charlie about these things that happen, and then you're bringing up stuff without realizing it's triggering.
Yeah. Justin?
It's literally like a basically like a huge fan Q&A. I mean, you're sitting in front of Survivor legends from all the eras, and Rizzo, like much like all of us, would be like, what happened on this season? What was this person like? Did you like this player? Do you still talk to this player? So I could see the fan in him. He's very excited. He's very enthusiastic. He loves this show like we all do. But also, you're in the game, literally playing the game. You have to still realize that. I thought the dynamic with Charlie was funny because it seemed as though on the original Tribes, when Rizzo was on Vatu, he came off as somebody who no one else really wanted to work with. They found him annoying. They found him to be a lot, but they opened up to him. The more you learn about him, he's a really, really good dude. Very family oriented. He's out there for the right reasons. With Charlie, it seems like he liked Rizzo, and then all of a sudden he was like, oh man, this kid has to go. So it was the opposite effect. But Lindsey, I know you alluded to this earlier. It seems as though with this edit, we already had Jenna versus Sari. Is this possibly another showdown we have coming? I hope not, because I like them both. I'm friends with both of them. I talk to both of them very, very frequently. So I don't want to see that. But it does seem like the edit is pinning the two of them together. And which side will the rest of the tribe be on?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm seeing as well. And no one wants to see Charlie versus RizGod because we want them both to succeed. Yeah, they're fellow nerds here. But I'm just so worried that Rizzo might end up winning the situation and Taylor Swift is going to come for Charlie. Karma, this is why you don't have nice things, darling. Oh my gosh, better than revenge. I'm just so worried that Rizzo's going to go full on Taylor Swift against Charlie.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad blood there, it seems. But yeah, I'm very sad to see my two nerdy boys like fighting with each other instead of working together. That's something that I was like super excited for the preview. And then, you know, unfortunately that it doesn't end up happening that way. And Charlie wants Rizzo out when I think Rizzo is definitely trying to bond with Charlie and work with him. And like, I also think it's interesting that they kind of use the edit to kind of dig at Maria for Charlie, which I don't know. I didn't necessarily like that because I think Maria is a very nice lady as well. I don't think she necessarily deserves the edit digging at her more at her expense for Charlie. But
yeah, I will say that was my least favorite part of the episode because I was watching that and just thinking like, Maria didn't ask for this. Why are we having this on 50?
Right. So
yeah. But one thing, speaking of the edit, that I really liked about that scene with Charlie and Rizzo was like how they edited Charlie telling the story, and like whoever was doing like camera work for that like is really brilliant because they knew in the moment, like at night when Rizzo's telling him that, to focus on Charlie's face and get his reactions because he'd have big reactions. And I think that was like, for me, what really made the scene, and like how they edited to Charlie like tell a story and then go back to like the things that actually happened. So I really like that work.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and then Dee and Jonathan are coming after Sari, which I don't know if that's going to work based on what happened to Jenna. So I'm almost thinking that Sari's going to find out and it's not going to work out for Jonathan and Dee.
I love that Dee confessional. And Dee just played, she's a badass herself, but she played up Sari. She's like, she's awesome. She's the best. but she just has to go. Right. And I'm like, usually those two things don't add up to that, but that had me laughing. I thought that it was good to see a lot more confessionals from the ladies this weekend or this episode, because I don't understand how you can go a whole episode and give almost a third of the cast 0 confessionals. That to me is crazy. I'm like, cut out something here, cut out like a little bit of camp life, cut out 1 or 2 conversations that may make sense down the road, but you can always introduce that. Right. I think, especially in the season, like you all said, you want to see all these people come back. You want to see them work with each other. We already have the background stuff out of the way because we already know who these people are. We know their life stories. We know their kids. We know how they played. We know what happened on their last season. Let's at least hear a little bit about how they feel within the game currently, where they are or where they feel like they're sitting within the tribe dynamics, how they're feeling that day, how they feel about this person, if they're looking for anything. I just, I mean, I'm a big fan of Camilla, as you all know. She's one of my friends. Giving her no confessionals when she had a bunch on 48, and they're all hilarious. Yeah. I just feel like that is a loss for the viewers.
Yeah.
Having met Camilla before at Celebrity Weekend, I mean, she's great. So another one of my favorites as well. I would love to see more of Camilla. I don't know. It sucks because Australian Survivor has the same problem. Like, they have 24 people as well, and they don't edit half their cast. So I was hoping US Survivor would not take after, the couple negatives the Australian Survivor might have, and they would actually have a better edit. But
those counts were crazy. I mean, there were some players, and I try to tune in a little bit. I know it's tough to watch with the time change and everything, but I do like the format of the show. I think it's a cool thing to watch as just a fan of the game. But to go like 5 or 6 episodes and then I have to say to myself, this person was not on the show. There's no way. And it's the first confessional for that person. And we're now like, a fourth of the way through the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that'd be my only complaint about episode 2 is we didn't get to hear from so many people, especially the women playing. And they kind of made up for it this episode. Like, when I'm thinking about it, like, I love Camp Life. It's so interesting to watch. But I want to hear these confessionals you were talking about, Justin. I want to hear from Camilla. Probably get into this. I want to hear from Chrissy, understand where she's coming from. Yes. When it comes to D, like, that's something my best friend would tell me too. Vote Suri out. Like, that is so important. I love that aspect of Survivor.
Yeah, and like the confessionals, like I want to hear like where they are game-wise, because some of them, like Dee and Tiffany haven't got much, and Charlie didn't get much. Like his confessionals were about how Mike White was ripped until finally this episode. Now we're getting a game story, although it doesn't look like it's going to end well for him. And even with Dee, like she's gotten so little. And like I like to read into the edits. So like even looking at like that situation with Dee and Jonathan talking about how you can't let Suri get to the merge or she'll like get you out. Mm-hmm. The fact that Dee was the one that really had the confessional that focused on it is telling me like Dee might be the victim of it and not Jonathan. Because for some reason, like, I don't know why, but Jonathan, to me, he's getting like a positive like confessional edit. It's kind of weird where like he has these confessionals for things that come off positively that like he doesn't need confessionals for. So I'm wondering like how they're trying to portray him. And he's definitely coming off a lot more strategic than like his first time, where his first time you think of him as just this challenge guy. But maybe it's the Boston Rob effect because it's public knowledge that Boston Rob was helping him out pregame. So who knows?
Yeah, I find it interesting because I did think the first time Jonathan played, I think they absolutely hid more of his strategy. Like him and Mike Turner had a lot of strategic control that wasn't really shown. And like here they're absolutely like showing a little bit more of it, though, as you guys said, like Dee, they're giving more of her perspective rather than Jonathan's on the situation. Yeah. So it's interesting. All right, we got new Kahlo, so Coach, Chrissy, Tiffany, Colby, Genevieve, Aubrey, and Joe. And we got the return of the Honor and Integrity Alliance. We knew Coach was going to group up with Colby and Joe immediately. Like, I was not surprised when Coach is like, I really respect how you play the game, Joe. And Colby, like, I frog marched you to the mat in Heroes versus Villains, and I know that you're a hero.
I've never seen Joe so animated in my life. He looked very excited for that swap. And I think, too, although, I don't know, this was such a weird episode for Chrissy. I don't know what edit she's getting. And especially Lindsey, like you said, coming off of 0 confessionals to now this, I don't know what the edit's trying to show us for a storyline. But I do think with the numbers, she can kind of slide into that alliance if she wants to. She kind of played a similar game, and she already feels like she's already on the outs. So I don't know. Maybe she's the fourth in that, and they have the majority, and they can kind of control that tribe. We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting with all the dynamics there. I think on the Chrissy point, like it's funny that Coach just goes to her and is like, "Yeah, you're annoying." And I saw someone post of
that was crazy.
I saw someone post it's like Tyson going to Coach in Heroes versus Villains and just being brutally honest, and I thought that was hilarious.
Like, "Don't tell your stories. Nobody cares."
So you're tied sheet down the beach where no one can see it. And I was like, but I don't know. Even at Chrissy's first tribe with her dynamics, every confessional about her was, "Oh, she just wants to boss all of us around and tell us what to do." And like, we're not going to stand for that anymore. And I'm saying she's obviously talking strategy. She's obviously working with people. We don't hear any of that. Then you heard nothing. And then you heard Coach lecturing her as they're walking down the side. So, like I said, I'm just confused with how this goes. There's another dynamic between Aubrey and Genevieve. It looks like that battle is continuing. That may or may not come to a head. But we have another character with Tiffany who's finally getting some content. And it looks like she's willing to work with Aubrey.
Yeah. I found that really interesting for Tiffany to like run to Aubrey and basically tell her, "Yeah, Aubrey, you're on the bottom. Like, let's do something and let's take out Genevieve." And I don't know, just the way they framed it was a little odd, but it definitely seems like that is going to come into play here. And I think like Aubrey's probably going to play her idol and Genevieve's probably gone is what it seems like. But we could be fooled and Aubrey could get blindsided with an idol in her pocket like she did the last time she played.
Say not again.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think like for some of these people, the edit's really focusing on like the baggage they bring into the game. Like with Chrissy, it's that last time like people didn't like her on the cast and it cost her the game. And with Charlie, Maria not voting for him, and with Aubrey, it's clear she's coming in with huge baggage for like in Co-Wrong, she arguably should have won and played such an amazing game. And then you go to Edge of Extinction where she just got completely snowed and like voted out with an idol, an extra vote in her pocket. And like she's coming in with that. So I feel like odds are she's not going to make the same mistake again, but you never know.
Yeah. Justin, question for you around what Shane said. If you got called at 50 saying you'd be a Fiji in 24 hours, get on a flight right now, would you have any thoughts from your original season 48, or would you start fresh with 50 new cast? Like, how would you do it?
In terms of my dynamics?
Yeah, like, do you think you remember your 48 season, like, things that happened? Like, would it impact your game, you think?
Well, my biggest thing, I would say, is just do not trust a colorectal surgeon. Well, that's interesting because I wanted to bring this up when we talked about Charlie. And he's getting a lot of flack from fans, critics, saying he shouldn't have that short-sightedness. He shouldn't see Rizzo as a Maria or potential Maria. It's only I think it was day 7 or day 8 by this time. But it is hard to kind of separate that if it seems as though it's the same exact scenario and is playing out again. Only, I think it's 2 years since he filmed 46 to 50.
Yeah.
It's tough to kind of just like wipe that from your mind. The way I would see it is every season is different. Every season plays differently. I think there are a collection of tools you can use. For me, my whole plan, granted, it didn't go as well as I had hoped, but it was kind of like lay low during the first initial tribe phase. If you get to a swap, the same thing, but make as many connections as you can, talk to as many people as you can, see what doors open, see what doors are not going to open for sure. Use that information, get to a merge, and then you leverage those relationships you made early on and kind of flourish. That was my plan to do it. I think that is still like a winning formula. We saw Kyle do it very well in 48. Yeah. I think he was trying to do the same thing in 50. And I think he would have been pretty successful, even though he had a huge target on his back. So I think something like that is an evergreen strategy. I think for the most part, you can do well with that. I also think people laugh at this all the time. They ask me, like, what do you want to see on Survivor? Like, who would you want to work with? I go, really, you just don't want to be an asshole to somebody. And it's the biggest thing is you're living with these people. You're sharing sleeping quarters, you're sharing tools, you're sharing clothes sometimes, you're sharing a bathroom. It's crazy, but it's also like, don't snore too loud, don't take too much food, just try to be mindful and courteous of everybody else. And it's tough because you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're having a hard time, you're burning in the sun, and it's a lot of long days. But if you can keep a cool, calm, collected mindset, you just have to shout out Rodney. You have to be able to just leverage that and say to yourself, I'm only here 26 days. That's it. Let me keep all this anger, vitriol, whatever it is inside. It can come out in confessionals because no one's going to know what you're saying until the season airs. But when I'm talking to somebody face to face, even if I want to kill you, keep it cool. Yeah. So that would be the strategy I would do going forward if I ever were to play again. And I think that you're seeing some of these players take those tools and showcase them on this big season.
Absolutely. All right, and then new Vatu, we've already talked to them about them a little bit with Christian and Emily Flippin, but we have Q, Angelina, Stephanie, Ozzy, Emily, Christian, and Mike White. And so, yeah, Emily not only throws Christian under the bus, but she also tells Angelina about what Q and Steph said about her. So, like, just being brutally honest. I mean, we saw that from Emily in 45, that she just was going to be brutally honest about what was happening. And in a way, I understand that gets people to trust you because, like, you're not able to tell them a lie, and you're just telling them straight up what's happening. I know people appreciate that. I don't think just, like, telling people so many secrets is a good thing, though, either. And I'm a little shocked that Emily ended up in this, like, strong position with everything she spilled to everybody.
Right.
Yeah, with Emily, I'm a huge fan of hers, by the way. Emily Flippin, if you're listening, love you.
You're the best.
You're the best. I was really wondering what you're doing here during this time because, like, yes, you have to. No one wants to lie, right? Even in a game of outwit, outlight, outplay, like outdeceive, all the things on Survivor, whatever you want to tag on to that. No one wants to lie, right? So you get Emily telling the truth. But then at some point, are you telling too much truth? Are you dangerous to your allies? You got to find the balance. I was a little worried for her on this one, finding the balance.
Yeah.
It's funny too, Lindsey, because it looked like it worked. Because Angelina, I could just see a genuine concern in her face as a viewer. And it just seemed as though, all right, I definitely have this person that I can trust now. So Emily's tactics are working. But you're right. You have to worry about too. Like, is Christian gonna get pissed off and not want to work with me? As we saw in his confessional when he kind of freaked out. He's like, Emily, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I almost wonder if, like, with Emily, was it like she intended to do it, or it's just kind of like an impulse and it came out.
That's a good point too.
Yeah. I feel like it might be an impulse thing. I just feel like Emily has never been really good at lines, so it's playing to her strengths of she's just going to be brutally honest, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it blows up in her face, as we saw when she went out in 45. So
she went out swinging in 45.
Yeah. I mean, she just revealed too much about her role in the Bruce vote out. So. All right, and then Q, speaking of honesty, Q reveals the Boomerang idol origins to Ozzy, tells him that they sent him this idol. I thought that was a good move by Q. Obviously doesn't end up playing out well, but I think this shouldn't hurt anything. This should build a connection because it's like they did just like give him this power and they did try to build this connection with him. So
yeah,
I think he took a calculated swing, knowing that he had no vote. I know exactly how my buddy feels in that situation. But to me, it seemed as though it was the right move, saying, "Hey, Ozzy, we gave you this. We want to help you down the line. Just keep us in mind going forward."
Right.
So I had no issues with that personally. I would like to hear what you guys think about that.
I don't think it was a bad thing. Like I think I will say, like, I was impressed with Q more in these 2 episodes of 50 than I was in his 13 episodes of 46. Like, for me, I felt like Q understood some of what he did wrong in 46 and wanted to try to fix that. And I think he just had a bit of a raw deal, like, especially at the swap, because he wasn't in a good position on his original tribe. And, like, I feel like people just knew he was chaotic in 46 and didn't want to work with him because of that.
He was dealt multiple bad hands, but I do give him credit for trying to play the hell out of every single hand that he was dealt.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just tough, whether it be a swap, whether it be your original tribe dynamics, whether it be the preconceived notions of going into the game as a returning player, knowing that your season's fresh in a lot of people's minds, and they saw you try to quit the show, try to, blow up votes, try to go crazy, try to launch a new fashion statement on the island. So all different kinds of things. I give him a lot of credit because he did change a lot of what people said he did not do well in 46. And I think he could have set himself up to go a lot further and have a strong chance, granted, if he got to a jury situation.
Right.
Yes. Right. Agreed. Justin, you referenced this earlier, how people change up their games knowing they're going to play again. I thought Q did a really good job. Like, it may be just what we saw him in, like, post interviews, or maybe it was, like, in real life. Maybe he matured, being a parent now. I just feel like we really got to see that in these 3 episodes, and I really enjoyed 3 episodes of Q.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. And I think, like, with him telling Mike White, like, oh, vote for me, like, it's reminiscent of him, trying to quit in 46. But this one was more strategic because, like, it wasn't trying to quit. There's strategy behind it and, like, how to get the votes to be split in a certain way. And, like, I'll take one for the team. But I don't think, like, him telling that to Mike White changed anything because Mike White was going to vote for him anyway. Like, he doesn't care if he had permission or not. So it was going to happen regardless. But yeah, Q definitely came across to me like a lot more likable. Because in 46, I don't know, he was still likable, but for me, it was just like a little annoying, I guess. Like, his gameplay is too chaotic. But now I'm like, oh, I actually wish he stuck around more, and I wouldn't mind seeing him come back again.
Yeah, he was good. Okay, quick question for all 3 of you while we're on Q. Would the 3 of you wear a Q skirt? I need to know.
After watching, Ryan Neil Wayne model it on our 46 podcast, I feel like maybe I should try it.
Mine's in the wash, Lindsey, so yes, I would.
All right.
I will not.
I think you could rock it, Shane.
Well,
Shane's like,
we can try it one day, but not
today's not today.
I did also want to say, I believe Q said in his exit press of, like, the reason why he was telling them to vote for him is because he didn't have that vote. And so, like, if there was going to be a tie, then, Stephanie could still vote. He didn't want them to vote for Stephanie and, like, him not have a vote. So I think it was a calculated risk on his part. I can absolutely see, like, why he would want them to, hopefully vote for him in the case of a tie and not vote for Stephanie. So,
and it seemed like he was doing the numbers too in his head, Jake, knowing that, all right, there are 3 from the same season. I'm assuming they're going to vote together. There's 3 right away. Right. How do we get the other 3? And knowing that he doesn't have a vote and potentially get to a deadlock situation and then go from there. So, I mean, granted, I never think it's a good idea to just openly tell people, all right, vote for me. Yeah. But I give him a lot of credit for him being the decoy vote or attempting to do that. Mm-hmm. That takes a lot of guts to do it. So he has no problems with me. I mean, I would like to see him again. I would like to see him on many seasons. I think he's a great character. I think he's hilarious. I think he's fun. I think it keeps things exciting. Mm-hmm. And like you said, Lindsey, we saw a lot of growth from him in just a few seasons. So I thought that was cool to see. I would like to see how he could play on a 3rd try.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see Q again. Like, on 46, we saw Q the character. I feel like on 50, we saw Q the person, Q the player, and I want to see it again.
I'd almost want to see him on a captain season. Like,
I like that.
Because I feel like he could have interesting interactions with, like, new players, and they wouldn't necessarily vote him out immediately anymore. Like, I think if he didn't play 50, he'd have, like, the Russell effect where they might even throw a challenge to get rid of him. But now, like, he might have a chance. It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Ooh, you think he's like Tony Vlachos on season 34 on Game Changers?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I think there could be a little of the Tony effect where this outing, changes the appearance of his first outing.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. The only other thing I wanted to bring up, because we've just discussed everything with the Q vote out, I think the immunity challenge, I think there were some cool things with, like, the blindfolded challenge. There was a cool callback that I noticed online after when Colby hits his head going under the thing and has, is, like, struggling to get up. they play the didgeridoo sound effect from Australian Outback as like a callback to Colby, and I thought that was amazing.
It was really cool, but also I've hit my head like that before. I give him a lot of credit for sticking through and just powering through that. That was tough.
Yeah. And poor Christian, unfortunately, not being able to solve the puzzle this time, which was very, very interesting. I think I saw some chatter online of like, did Christian try to throw this challenge? I don't think he did, but
yeah, I don't think so.
I would be surprised if he did.
I wonder if he just was missing that rock base for the fire, because it seemed like right away he just knew, all right, we'll just build the flame from up, and then once they got to that was confusing. But I got to give a shout out to our boy RizGod.
Yes,
blindfolded and puzzle king. Took a lot of flack in 49 for not being able to do a puzzle. He said, you just have to blindfold me and I'll just get it done.
He did it. I mean, I'm impressed.
Kicked
also,
ass.
Like, to our callers on this challenge, I think that has to be such a difficult role. Do you volunteer yourself? Does your tribe pick for you? Like, Justin, you might know from your experiences, because I think that's the most like pressure filled. And my voice does not carry, so I can never do that. So I'm impressed watching other people do that.
And the thing is, too, you hear everybody while that challenge is going on, and not just the other competitors. You hear Jeff screaming too. So my senses were really heightened when I was tempted to say, but you're trying to hear Cedric's voice, but then you have everybody else screaming. You have people who were on the bench, the sit-outs screaming too. You have Jeff screaming, and you're just trying to focus on hearing Cedric, who doesn't have the most commanding voice.
Right.
So when we practiced this, we discussed what's a terminology that we would use that no one else would figure out. So we try to do the face of a clock. And I said, Cedric, just think of an analog clock. I knew he would know what an analog clock is, because I feel like anybody over 35 still gets that. So I was like, just go by that and we'll proceed. My issue was, I guess, I didn't really know the face of a clock, and Mary, unfortunately, she was kind of like on her own. But yeah, that was our tactic. It didn't come out too well. But when everyone was saying turn left, turn right, go this way, Cedric, I go, just say times, because I'll know where to go. I'll lead whoever's with me, and we'll do it that way. So it is tough. There's a lot going on. You're trying to think in the moment, and also, what are other people going to do, so we can come up with something else. Our tribe will hear us, but not hear anybody else. It's tough. I do not envy that position at all. I did not want to volunteer for it. I'm glad I did not have to do it. But whoever did it for the tribe immunity challenge on this episode, they did an awesome job.
Yeah, agreed. If the four of us ever play this challenge, I nominate you, Shane. You are the caller.
I agree.
I could probably do that.
Yeah, I think you do very well.
Yeah, I think Shane directing us would feel very good.
What was cruel though was those rings that had no color. I thought that was really mean from a production standpoint, because I mean, I'm thinking you can't see anything. Like, we really were blindfolded, and it's not just the buff over your head. There's another blindfold beneath that. So if I picked up a ring, I'm thinking to myself, oh, I have this 100%, and it's just a gray ring. Yeah. I would be very, very, very heartbroken.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's everything else. Favorite player of the episode and predictions. So favorite player of the episode, I'm gonna go with Charlie, actually, just because I enjoyed kind of the story beats connecting to each other from 46. And even though I was excited to watch him and Rizzo work together, it's going to be interesting to have them go against each other as much as it is going to be sad. But I'm excited to watch, see what happens with him. So, Justin.
I actually had Charlie as well. And not just because he had an awesome watch party. I appreciate him inviting me. We had it at Harpoon Brewery in the Seaport for this episode. I don't know if he knew what the episode was going to entail in terms of his backstory and what happened in 46 and then going forward, and then the zoomed in face that he made when he was trying to sleep, my poor buddy. But I think he did a good job. I think that he's realizing there might be a threat. There may be somebody who he has to worry about going forward. So he's very quick on his feet. He's very smart. He's very intelligent, as we all know. He's a fellow nerd, so we have to shout him out as much as we can. But I thought he had a great episode. Hopefully, I don't want to see either of them go. Like you said, Lindsey, I hope they can find a way to kind of squash this and work together. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen, unfortunately. But as long as they're both on the screen, I'm very happy. But I'm going to give the edge to Charlie on this one.
Yeah. Shane?
So it's still tough as always because there's so many people I enjoy watching, but I think I'm gonna go RizGod because for me, like that scene with Charlie, like just connected me as like what would I do as a fan and how do I feel as a fan, and like that is what I love about Rizzo so much is he just feels like one of us. So because he showed that, I'm gonna go with him.
Yeah,
That's a good answer.
Lindsey.
It's hard, Shane, you're right, because I want to give it to so many people, but I'm going to give it to Tiffany because we saw her be there for Aubrey, and I almost gave it to Chrissy, almost gave it to RizGod, almost gave it to Charlie, so many people. But for me, Tiffany, I wanted to see more of her, and we finally got to see her, and we saw her in such a positive light. She was there when Aubrey needed her. You see why like Aubrey, she made me want to cry. She's like, I have an ally. Her name is Tiffany. I was like, she's my ally too, I guess. Like, yes, we're all there. I love that moment. So Tiffany for me.
Yeah, I'm interested to watch Tiffany moving forward. I hope she gets more because I mean they picked her to be on this season for a reason because they saw potential in her. So
and a lot of people are upset at that pick, but if you're there for a reason, like you said, Jake. So however this plays out, I am very glad to watch it.
Yeah. All right, predictions. So I also got an email from a listener, Johanna. She sent me like a link to like the betting odds, and I found that was interesting. So I guess Aubrey has the highest betting odds right now. So I find that interesting with how Aubrey's edit has been so far. But yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out there. Predictions. I mean, Zach Brown's showing up next week. I don't know much else of what's going to happen aside from that. I mean, I think we're going to get Charlie versus Rizzo eventually, but I don't know if it's going to be next week. So what are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to come to a head next week because I think that tribe gets the Zach Brown reward because in the preview they showed Joe being like, oh, Zach Brown, but Zach Brown like shows up to the challenge so everyone sees him. But in the trailer for the season at the end of 49, they show Rizzo being like, oh, Zach Brown's walking up on my beach. So I think they're going to get it, which means they're going to be safe because I don't see any way like timing wise that they're going to be able to have a reward and immunity like separate challenge. So I guess those two will get to settle their differences with the Zach Brown concert. Cause I think he had his guitar, like he's around the fire and everything. But they also like showed him walking up with fish, so maybe he's seeing fish, but like he should be bringing something better than that.
Agreed.
Like, why isn't there chicken fried? That's what Jeff
Exactly.
Oh my God. More fried chicken and waffles.
Chicken and waffles.
They did have the chicken reward, so
Yes.
And as a vegetarian, I never want to see any animals harmed in the making of Survivor, but I guess if it is the song, and I prefer that than some other musical numbers on the show. So I am curious to see because Emily has a track record of going to tribals. I feel her pain. So I wonder if Vatu is going to go back. I'm not sure how it will play out, but I'm wondering what Stephanie is doing because she was on the wrong side of the vote. That doesn't always translate well. But the most concerning thing I heard from her in the episode, and this may have been the edit or just spliced together, she said this was the hardest season she's ever played. And I had to look back and I'm saying, you're on Palau, literally were the only member left of your tribe. The tribe had to be dissolved.
Yes.
And they forced the merge. She came back on Guatemala. I'm very close with Amy O'Hara.
Yeah.
She told me when I got back from filming 48, do they make you trek 11 miles in the woods and in the jungle and pick up supplies as you were and then not have any clean drinking water or anywhere to sleep or any shelter built? And I said, no, nothing like that. They just kind of dropped us off. So that was insane. I mean, it was like luxury camping compared to what they had in Guatemala. I mean, some of the worst conditions ever filmed. And then Heroes Villains, she dislocates her shoulder and gets voted out so early. Yeah. So I'm like, you have this track record of all these brutal seasons, and then you go out for 50, and that's the hardest you've been through. So I don't know. Maybe we're not seeing something on camera. Maybe Jeff's like rapping to them at night or something. Something's going on that beach. I have no idea.
Yeah, there's no sleep. It's just Jeff rapping.
And flashbacks to previous seasons. But I don't know. I thought that was interesting. So maybe there's something else that's going on that we're not seeing. Or maybe, like you guys alluded to before, maybe it's just like the game has changed so much for these old school players. And it's the first time we're seeing old schoolers in the new era of Survivor. Fast pace, a lot less downtime, no rice, no food, quick votes, not a lot of time to kind of form those connections and base votes off of that. It's kind of like, and I know this firsthand from Vula. Go to a challenge, lose, get back. All right, this one's going home tonight. Wake up the next day, do the same thing, lose another challenge. All right, who's going home tonight? All right, perfect. So I don't, maybe it's the pacing, maybe it's the dynamics of the tribe, maybe it's just, there's so many crazy characters and who wants to fight for screen time, or who's there to make a lasting impression, who's there to prove the doubters wrong. I don't know. But from going to the last person on your tribe, to having it dissolved, to trekking 11 miles, literally from the first thing you do and be dehydrated for 3 or 4 days afterwards, and then tearing your shoulder, to saying this is the hardest you've ever been on Survivor, I thought that was very telling.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. But yeah, this was great. So Justin, you wanted to give a shout out to an event that's coming up, right?
Yes. So we have a watch party. Anyone who is local, you are more than welcome to come. We're doing a watch party at Night Shift Brewing in Everett for episode 4 with Boston Underground Games. So if you think you're good at Survivor, if you want a little training for your time on the island, if you want to test your skill at some immunity challenges, they do an awesome job. They have full-scale replicas of challenges that you'll see on 50 in previous seasons. So come down, starts at 6 o'clock. I believe I'm the MC that night, so I got to get my mic skills ready. But tickets will be on my bio. If you have me on Instagram or TikTok, any of my social media, or Boston Underground Games, you can check them out. And then we have another event, which I'm hoping to see some people on this podcast there, at Luigi's April 14th. The Underground Games is coming back to Luigi's. We have Bryce and Wendell come in to hang out with us too, and we're going to set up a full-scale immunity challenge in the parking lot of Luigi's. So you can try your luck there. Get ready for your time on the island. Hopefully you guys will be on there very soon so I can root for you. But this is the best training you could get because it's very difficult to make these. They do an awesome job, like I said. And you'll get the upper hand in those challenges. So
yeah, I'll have to try to come out this Wednesday. I'll definitely be there for the Luigi's one.
Perfect.
I'll come to see you. Don't know if I can do the challenges on Wednesday because like that, but I'll come for you. Not for the challenge.
If anything, I mean, you're a righty, right?
Yep. And
you are all right. So I was gonna say, I mean, if you want to try your luck with the left hand, go out there ambidextrous, Shane. I mean, you'll have the whole season locked up.
I've gotten better with my left hand over the past few months.
I had the same surgery on the same arm, so it was brutal for months. But then I remember I was like right and left-handed. I was getting better at it, and then finally, when the cast came off, I was like, "Oh, thank God that is over," because I would write and everything would just immediately smudge. So I give credit to anybody who was a lefty out there who was left-hand dominant. Because I could not do it. I give you a ton of credit.
Okay, y'all, I'll give you some tips on being left-hand dominant. I have not, but my dad's a lefty. My mom is right-handed, so I can do both just by learning it from them.
Oh, there we go.
So I'll give you some left-hand tips.
See, Shane, we're all set up. We'll be good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Justin, for coming back on.
Oh, anytime. I appreciate it. And always good to hear from you guys. Always good to hear questions from the fans. And hoping for the good rest of the season. We'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Justin.
Oh, anytime.
Well, with that, we will see you all next time for more Survivor 50 coverage on the Tribe of Nerds.